Good afternoon. Welcome to Jerez de la Frontera for Race 2 in the Ferrari Challenge TropheoPirelli season here at Jerez. Race 2 of the weekend's activities here. You can see where we've been. There is the calendar for 2016. Monza, Mugello, Le Mans, Sochi, Hockenheim, and here we are at Jerez then for the penultimate rounds before we head to Daytona in the USA for the big glittering World Finals weekend right at the beginning of December. So we're in beautiful weather conditions here in Spain, and track and racing conditions absolutely perfect for the drivers that are out there on the grid. This 4.4 circuit, which features some 13 turns, 8 right, 5 left. It's technical, and as Alex Paulo, who is on pole position, told us yesterday, it's actually a very old school circuit as well, without acres and acres of tarmac runoff area. So rule is keep it on the track and don't use anything outside those track limits or you will be in trouble. Alex Paulo then, who I mentioned, is going to be on pole position. The GP3 racer who races for Campos. It's his first weekend in a GT racing car, and yesterday the start from him was not brilliant. He finished the race fantastically by finishing P2, but had pole position yesterday and wasn't able to convert that into the race lead, unfortunately. However, he and Bjorn Grossman were having a conversation just a few moments ago, actually, and they were discussing tactics right at the very start. Supreme level of camaraderie between the drivers in the Ferrari Challenge. And it's going to be Alex Paulo, Philippe Barron on the front row. As we look at the cars assembled on the grid. Big crowd here to enjoy the race action from the Ferrari Challenge as we are reaching the sharp end of the championship, that's for sure. 2 categories, TropheoPirelli and Copichel. The Copichel race comes up a little later this afternoon. But within TropheoPirelli, which are the cars that you're looking at now, there are both pro drivers and AM drivers as well. And Sam Smith, who will be going from P5 on the grid, did enough at the last round at Hockenheim in Germany to seal the AM title. So very dominant performance from Sam Smith of Stratstone Ferrari in the UK. And very much looking forward to seeing him back in the car for 2017, albeit probably elevated from the AM category, maybe to the Pro category, all to be revealed in 2017. So, Jerez, what's it like here? Have a look. Right alongside Alex Paulo, then going from P2 is Philippe Barron, who drives for the Rosso Corsa team, still within championship title ambitions in terms of the points. He's P2 in the points on 133, whereas Bjorn Grossman on 187, with another 3 races to come in the course of the 2016 calendar. So there is our pole sitter, Alex Paulo, super young man driving for Style F Squadra Corsa. Talented driver who has raced not only in GP3 but also in Euroformula. Has also tested DTM car as well, but this is first go in a GT car, and he got in the car for the first time on Wednesday, so clearly has acquitted himself really rather well. Our points leader is Bjorn Grossman. Took the win yesterday. He is the reigning TropheoPirelli champion, going for the title 2 out of 2, and revealed to us yesterday his middle name is Mario. And Christian Berchinger, who runs the Octane 126 team for whom Bjorn Grossman races, we had a little pact that we would reveal that on the air, and we did so yesterday. Super Mario then, who took the win yesterday, and therefore finds himself with a healthy margin on 187 points compared to 133 for Philippe Barron. Alessandro Vezzoni took the AM category in the championship last year. It's his 70th race in the 458 Challenge, and Alessandro Vezzoni, who has moved up to the Pro Championship, goes from P7 on the grid. And there, the car's all set. We're not many moments away from the race starting. But before we get race 2 underway, let's take a look at what happened in race 1 here at Jerez yesterday. So from the off, you could see Bjorn Grossman getting a far superior start to that of Alex Paulo. And Alex Paulo had the back of the car to look at going into turn number 1. Sam Smith and Alessandro Vezzoni were battling, and Philippe Barron appeared to be battling with what seemed to be an ill-handling car and was under pressure the whole race, along until his eventual retirement. Right onto the gravel meant that Marcello Puglisi did manage to get past, although his efforts here on Alessandro Vezzoni would not be successful. Carried too much speed through there and was never going to make the turn work. Nonetheless, Puglisi kept the pressure on Alessandro Vezzoni right till the very end, and again another bold move here, which after a little bit of panel rubbing from Alessandro Vezzoni in defence didn't work. It was Grossman then who would take another supremely dominant win. The rest of the pack following across the timing line. It was even a drag race to that checkered flag between Vezzoni and Puglisi. In the end, it was Grossman, Paulo and Smith, the 1-2-3. So back to the pictures live then here at Jerez de la Frontera, and the Hublot safety car waiting to head off on the installation lap. We are but a few seconds away from that car going, and then the rest of the cars will follow suit. So the number 59 car of John Ferrano that we look at now finished the race P7 overall yesterday. The AM driver for Rosso Corsa. And that really rather extraordinary looking building that straddles the main straight here at Jerez is not race control. It is just a fantastic hospitality area. A great place to view the race action from if you can get a pass to get in there. So race 2 then, not far from getting away. 30 minutes of race action to come from the Trofeo Pirelli class of Ferrari Challenge, the class of 2016. The cars down there assembled on the grid. Paulo from Barron, Grossman. Then it's Vladimir Ataev, who made his debut at Moscow. Sam Smith. So we look at the Tommaso Roca car there, who's not been able to hook it up terribly well in qualifying, and it goes from P10. Here's the grid in full for you then. Alex Paulo for Stylef Squadra Corsa with Philippe Barron alongside. Then it's Bjorn Grossman, who's qualifying today, not as dominant as yesterday. Vladimir Ataev then goes from P4 on the grid, the young guy that we were just talking about, who made his debut at the the Sochi round in Russia. Sam Smith and then Marcello Puglisi. Then it's Alessandro Vezzoni and Martin Nelson as we look at rows 3 and 4. And to row 5 and 6, John Ferrano, Tommaso Roca, and then bringing up the rear for Stylef Squadra Corsa, the same squad that are running our pole sitter, is Andrea Benanati, who goes from P11 on the grid. So safety car has been released then, and the cars will follow now as the formation lap gets underway. You head uphill towards turn number 1, which is a right-hander, before a second right-hander, which is turn number 2. It was going up that hill where Bjorn Grossman was able to defeat Alex Paulo in the chase to turn number 1. All the social media on screen, should you wish to be part of the Ferrari Challenge. It's all there for you, and we would urge you to be part of it. Races.ferrari.com is the web portal where you'll find out all the information you need to know with regards to the Ferrari Challenge, the ins and outs of the cars, the teams and the drivers as well. It really is a fantastic website. I urge you to take a look. In the Drivers' Championship then, 187 points for Bjorn Grossman, who's not done enough yet to seal the championship, and it would be 2 out of 2 for 2 years running. Philip Barron is P2. Marcello Puglisi then is P3 in the points, with Vezzoni, Lima, Gosner, Babalus, Basov, and Alex Paulo then into the points chart by dint of his P2 success yesterday. So, will Paulo get a better start today than he got yesterday? Well, the question will be answered very, very soon. It's a rolling start for the Ferrari Challenge. This is the AM Drivers' Championship, which, as I mentioned, Sam Smith has already done enough to seal that title on 213 points. What a hugely successful year he's had. Still all to play for P2 and P3, though, between Tommaso Roca and Martin Nelson, who, incidentally, Martin Nelson starts from P8 on the grid, and various points during qualifying this morning was very, very quick indeed. So Martin Nelson may well be one to watch in this race, and you can see that car now just disappearing out of view, the number 13 car of Martin Nelson. So Alex Paulo then making his GT Racing debut this weekend in the Ferrari Challenge, and for this squad, Style F Squadra Corsa, seem pretty happy with the way qualifying has gone. Of course they would. And Rosso Corsa it is that run the Philip Barron car, which is P2 on the grid. There is John Ferrano. Best of the AMS was Vladimir Atuev then in terms of qualifying, just out qualifying Sam Smith. Those cars on P4 and P5 in the grid. Tommaso Roca gives it a footfall then, heading towards the start of race number 2 of the weekend for the Trofeo Pirelli cars. And there is the Scuderia Autoropa machine of Martin Nelson that I mentioned just a few moments ago. Superb looking livery on that car. So the safety car will peel off, and it's the responsibility of Alex Paulo and Philip Barron then to control the pace of the rolling lap as they head towards the start. The anticipation builds, as does the excitement and the anxiety too in the team garages. That was Christian Berchinger from Octane 126, whose driver, of course, goes from P3 on the grid. Engine note will increase, so will the revs as they head towards the lights, which we throw to the left-hand side of the screen for you. And it's all systems go as Alex Paulo now heads up towards turn number 1 and just squeezes Philip Barron to the outside, but Barron carrying more momentum. If he runs wide, he could end up losing that P2 position to Bjorn Grossman as they're side by side here. Barron trying to carry more speed through turn number 2 as they go into the next section where Barron will have the inside line, and therefore Bjorn Grossman under pressure now from Sam Smith, the AM driver, who is disposed of Vladimir Atuev really rather quickly, and he's up to P4. But Alex Paulo then has got his nose in front and now is off up the road. So the number 22 car leads as they come off of turn number 5 now and head down this longest straight here at the Jerez circuit. Heavy braking before the right-hander now, which is turn number 6. Ahead of Alessandro Vezzoni is Marcello Puglisi, who spent so much time behind Alessandro Vezzoni in the race yesterday. And the number 97 car of Tommaso Roca has got past John Ferrano. So there is Vladimir Atuev then, supported by SMP Racing, the Russian concern. And there is Bjorn Grossman, who's running in P3. The early stages, we are on the first lap here. Paulo and Barron appear to have some pace advantage as the back end of the Alessandro Vezzoni car stepped out there through the chicane at turns 11 and 12. Around the final turn, all the cars come now to complete the first lap. Just taking a look at the inside of Vezzoni, there was Martin Nelson, not quite close enough to be able to make a pass, and they all head up to turn number 1 once again. So Paulo leading with a 9/10 margin over Philip Barron in P2. Then it is Bjorn Grossman that's running in P3. John Ferrano now pushing Tommaso Rocca very hard and gets to the inside, but Tommaso Rocca closes the door. That's the battle that's going on at the moment for P9. And on board, looking back at the John Farano car from Tommaso Rocca's Rosso Corsa machine. Whoa, and an off moment there for John Farano through turn number 5, just getting the back end of the car out onto the gravel. Goes back to what we were saying earlier about this being a bit of an old school circuit without the acres of tarmac runoff area. And it was a good save from John Farano to bring the car back from just dipping toes into the gravel. Fastest of anyone by some 3/10 over Sector 1 is Alex Paulo, who's really opening up the lead now over Philip Barron. Sam Smith is under pressure from the number 39 car of Vladimir Atoev, and also joining in that battle is Marcello Puglisi as well. Interestingly, both Smith and Atoev, the two AM drivers, with Puglisi, a pro driver, behind. But as far as pro drivers goes, this is Alex Paulo, who is leading the race. It's Philip Barron P2, and Bjorn Grossman then, yesterday's race winner, is in P3. Of course, this is exactly what Barron needs to do in terms of his championship chances, and that's score more points wherever possible over Bjorn Grossman. Fastest lap, a 1:49.382 then was the last lap from Alex Paulo. Very much quicker than anybody else out there. Quickest of anyone through sectors 1 and sectors 2. 1:49.382. Compare that to Philip Barron's time of 1:57.43, the pace that Paulo has. I asked him the question a couple of hours ago, how much experience and knowledge of the Jerez circuit does he have? And actually, not as encyclopedic as you would think. Certainly not as encyclopedic as his dominance is showing. So Sam Smith then continuing to show a clean pair of heels to Vladimir Atoev behind him. But once again, the three pro drivers are really breaking away by some 3 seconds from this little gaggle here. Now, the reason Vladimir Atoev is showing us P2 is because that's where he is in the AM category. Sam Smith leading him in the AM category. And John Farano and Tommaso Rocca still virtually welded together there. The battle for P4 position in the AM category of the Trofeo Pirelli. Paulo again, a really dominant sector 1, 4/10 quicker than Barron. So sector 1 is really to Alex Paulo's liking. Oh, and a mistake there from Tommaso Rocca, who wasn't able to turn in. And that plays into the hands nicely of John Farano, who is ahead now of the Tommaso Rocca car, and there is Andrea Beninati in the all-black number 74 machine. Sam Smith then turns in for turn number 1. Alex Paulo's extended his lead to 3.3 seconds. Martin Nelson then remains in the P8 position for Scuderia Autoropa and has got the 3rd place on the AM podium at the moment, but still 24 minutes of the race to come. And you'll recall on the opening laps, Martin Nelson was right on the back of Alessandro Vezzoni, but Vezzoni has got away from him now. So, well within the target sights, presumably of John Farano now, is that beautifully liveried Autoropa car of Martin Nelson, running in P8 in the race overall. John Farano is P9, but it's P3 and P4 respectively in the AM chase. So Barron then is showing a clean pair of heels to Bjorn Grossman at the moment, although a bit of dust being kicked up there, which would suggest that Barron was a little bit wayward through that turn. There is Marcello Puglisi then chasing down the Vladimir Atoev car, but Sam Smith and Vladimir Atoev, they've been together since the very off of the race, and Sam Smith there, his last lap was a couple of tenths quicker than Vladimir Atoev. So Tommaso Rocca following his diversion through the chicane that's not being used. And that's where it happened. See it from on board Thomas O'Rourke's car now then. Just was carrying too much pace and was never going to be able to turn in, so had to shortcut it, which actually costs significant time and a place for him. Barron again just looking a bit wayward. So too Bjorn Grossman right behind him, to be fair, as the back end of the car stepped out. And Barron then 4/10 quicker. Sorry, the margin between them is 4/10, but look at the lap times. 1:55.40 for Philip Barron and 1:51.019 for Bjorn Grossman. So Bjorn not having the Super Mario effect that he had yesterday. Here's the live gap for you now. So there you can see between the P2 and P3 drivers at the moment. Alex Paolo, incidentally, is now 4 seconds up the road. Top speed through the speed trap for Philip Barron was 225 kilometers per hour. For Bjorn Grossman, 2 kilometers per hour quicker at 227, as you can see. So the chase is on as the Rosso Corsa team look on at their man, who is P2. Paolo then, as you can see, 4.3 seconds up the road. He really has disappeared. And just see him in picture there through the chicane at turns 11 and 12. There is Philip Barron in the AM standings. The order is Smith, Atuev and Nelson, the 1, 2, 3 then. Bjorn Grossman now just turning it up a bit to try and chase down Philip Barron. So they enter the start-finish straight now. And, well, they were virtually matched in terms of their lap times. 1:51.3 for both Barron and Grossman, but it was a 1:54.73 for Alex Paolo. And that's why that gap is 4.4 seconds between Paolo and Barron. So Alex Paolo for Style F Squadra Corsa, as I said, making his GT racing debut this weekend and doing a great job out there. He finished P2 yesterday and was taken right at the very, very start of the race. Has not made the same mistake again today. So heads down towards turn number 6 now. Heavy braking before turning in for the right-hander. And there is the P2 and P3 driver with the front end of the car just looking a little bit skittish as Philip Barron applied the brakes. There's Sam Smith, who leads the AM category and at the moment is not being troubled by Vladimir Atuev. So breaking away nicely for the Stratstone Ferrari FF Corsa engineered car of Sam Smith. 8/10, as you can see, between Sam and Vladimir. Stratstone Ferrari versus Motor Service Team in the AM race. Sam doing a good job out there. Finished in the on the podium in the race overall, P3, and taking the win in the AM category yesterday to add to the many that he's already had this year. Such has been his dominance in the AM category that sealed the championship title at the last round at Hockenheim in Germany. A bit wider through the final turn there for Sam. Vladimir Atuev taking a completely different line. And as they cross the timing line, I can reveal that Alex Paolo, right at the front of the pack, has increased the margin to now 4.8 seconds between himself and Philip Barron. So Smith then, as you can see, Vladimir Atuev was 6/1000ths quicker the last lap than Sam Smith, but Sam looking very tidy there. Everything completely under control, just building himself a little bit of a margin between he and the Atuev car, which is at center screen right now. So downhill from turn 5 as the cars head towards turn 6. And then braking into the right-hander, which is turn number 6. the pit wall of Stylev Squadra then. And their charger, Alex Paulo, doing a great job. Right, the battle for P2 is between Philip Barron and Bjorn Grossman. Last time around, Grossman was just a tenth or so quicker than Philip Barron as they head into the chicane. Can Barron do to hold off the charge of Bjorn Grossman? Well, he's doing enough at the moment because the margin between them is great enough that whilst Philip Barron can't certainly relax, he does appear to have it all under control. So the 4,400cc Evo version of the 458s head up towards turn number 1, the right-hander. Grossman very, very slowly but surely trying to take some time out of Philip Barron. Barron, of course, a multi-champion in the Ferrari Challenge. Bjorn Grossman, the current TropheoPirelli champion. So 2 hugely experienced drivers in these Ferrari Challenge cars. Again, just the back end of the Philip Barron car, stepping out slightly, but able to control it well as they head into the braking zone for turn number 6. Both of them have broken away from Sam Smith, but equally Alex Paulo has broken away from the battle for P2 that goes on between Philip Barron and Bjorn Grossman. So we have 3 pro drivers that lead the race at the moment. Then it's 2 AMs, then another couple of pro drivers before the rest of the AM drivers and the rest of that group, starting with this man, Martin Nelson, who is running in P8 overall, but has got the final podium place in the AM race at the moment. He is at P3, and P4 is John Ferrano. And Nelson, again, another one with a nice, comfortable margin of some 2 seconds between himself and the charging John Ferrano, who you will recall managed to get past Thomas O'Rourke because Roca made a mistake and had to shortcut the track and subsequently lost that place. So through the chicane goes Martin Nelson then. Ahead of him by some 4 seconds is Alessandro Vezzoni, who's the last of the pro drivers in the race at the moment. He's P5 in the pro category, P7 in the race overall, with his arch enemy Marcello Puglisi ahead of him. And yesterday it was Puglisi and Vezzoni battling hard, and the positions were reversed yesterday with Vezzoni ahead of Puglisi. This is our race leader, Alex Paulo, who's by another 0.3 extended his margin at the front. It's now 5.3 seconds, all bar a little, as he heads down towards turn number 6. Lights up the front discs of the mid-engine Berlinetta 458 Evo Challenge car. The major differences to the cars in the Evo package, the big rear wing and also the front splitter as well, aiding the downforce available to the drivers in these challenge cars. And Paulo then, in his first experience of GT cars, taking to it like a proverbial duck to water this weekend here in Jerez de la Frontera. So Paulo leading by 5.1 seconds. He brakes now for the final turn, which leads us back to the start-finish straight, and we've got 13.5 minutes on the clock remaining. Some super slow-mo images of the brake disc lighting up then, and our leader in the Pro Championship, Alex Paulo, for Stylev Squadra Corsa. Wonderful image. And leader of the AM category is Sam Smith for Stratstone Ferrari. Leader of the amateur race, but winner of the AM Championship in addition. Having sealed that victory at Hockenheim, Vladimir Atoev, though, is getting a bit closer to Sam Smith now as the tyre wear begins to perhaps play into this race. We're into the final 13 minutes or so of race action to come from the Ferrari Challenge TropheoPirelli cars. And this their last race action in the Ferrari Challenge before heading off to America for the fantastic World Finals in Daytona. Right at the beginning of December. So heading down towards turn number 6 now, and Atuev is getting ever closer. And Vladimir Atuev, who is P2 in the AM race at the moment. Martin Nelson, who's P3, is a long way distant. So Atuev then can focus his mind completely on trying to attack the all-yellow FF Corsa machine there of Sam Smith. Here comes the live gap between the two of them then. It's 6 tenths, and 10th and a bit has been taken out of Sam Smith's time by Vladimir Atuev. As I said, made his debut when the Ferrari Challenge visited the fantastic Sochi circuit in Russia earlier on in the year. It was also the return of the Russian driver Alexei Basov, who returned to the Ferrari Challenge for a one-off appearance at the Sochi Raceway, and good to see him back in action. It was too. Gone on to have a phenomenally successful racing career, has Alexei Basov. Smith then picking the pace up just a little bit on the last lap because of the challenge coming from Atuev. It's just a 10th and a bit quicker. This is Bjorn Grossman, who's also just getting a little bit closer to Philip Barron. So the battle of the drivers and the battle of the teams as well. At the moment, it's Rosso Corsa leading, Octane 126. But again, you can just see how Philip Barron, carrying so much speed through turn 5, just gets the back end of the car out onto the gravel. So Grossman lining up the number 91 car ahead. And this could be a battle that will rage for the final 10.5 minutes of this Ferrari Challenge TropheoPirelli race. So the Octane 126 engineered Bjorn Grossman then, current leader in the TropheoPirelli Pro Championship. Chasing down the man that's P2 in that championship at the moment, Philip Barron, but it's P2 and P3 in the race because Alex Paulo is 5.3 seconds up the road and leading the race for Style F Squadra Corsa. Into the chicane at turn 11 then. Oh, and Philip Barron having to use opposite lock to control the back end, sliding there. That will have cost a couple of 100ths potentially and allowed Bjorn Grossman to get just a little bit closer. So into the final turn as they head towards the start-finish straight, and once crossing the timing line, it's then uphill towards turn number 1. Paolo driving well within capabilities of himself and the car, and just managing beautifully that 5.2 second margin he's got at the front. Now, quickest man on track last lap around was Bjorn Grossman. A 151.989 compared to a 152.0 for Barron and a 152.2 for Alex Paulo. So Grossman then, towards the later stages of the race, has got the pace in his car. Again, you can just see the back end of Bjorn Grossman's car drifting just a little bit. So top speed through the speed trap for Barron is 225 kilometers per hour. And for Bjorn Grossman, who slides out of that turn, he is 2 kilometers per hour quicker, as you can see, 227. So these two, it's the closest battle out on track at the moment that we're watching, and it's the battle for a P2 in the race overall. So Paulo, Barron, Grossman, just trying to do some calculations here as to whether, if we stay as we are with Philip Barron in P2 and Bjorn Grossman in P3, whether Grossman will have done enough to seal the championship. Very rudimentary calculations, but think it might be enough. So across the timing line they come now. And on that occasion, by some 5/10, Philip Barron was quicker than Bjorn Grossman. So battle for P1 in AM is between Sam Smith and Vladimir Atuev. Vladimir was a bit closer to Sam Smith just a little while ago, but at the moment, Sam Smith being able to just fend him off nicely. See how the margin has been slowly coming down between Atuev and Smith, but you just get the impression and feeling that Sam has got it all completely under control. And of course, it is Vladimir that is having to do the hunting into the final 7 minutes of the race. Atuev certainly closes up under braking. Sam gives the car a footful out of the turn. Heading up towards turn number 9 now. And the live gap between them is 7/10. So Vladimir Atuev then meaning business here. But as he left it all just a little bit too late as they go through the chicane. Sam looking cleaner through that chicane as they head towards the final turn now. So the SMP Racing supported Vladimir Atuev then in the number 39 car. They're running P4 and P5 in the race, but it's P1 and P2 in the AM category. So the cars scream past us and head up towards turn number 1. Here's the battle between Grossman and Philip Barron then over P2 and P3. Barron had a torrid time of it in race 1 yesterday and wasn't able to finish the race, whereas Bjorn Grossman, of course, was victorious. So the Stylev Squadra Corsa pit board being altered as we speak. There you can see it's 5/10, and just taking a sneaky look at the inside there was Bjorn Grossman. This is Alex Paulo who leads the race, and Grossman and Barron then absolutely together now. Philip Barron is P2, Bjorn Grossman is P3, but Grossman with 4 3/4 minutes left in this race has turned up the wick and is going for that P2 place. He drifts the car through that turn. That will have cost him just a little bit of time because he will have absolutely used everything that the Pirelli rubber has been able to offer. So too Philip Barron, in fairness, but that was Grossman's closest moment with Philip Barron for the entire race, to be fair. Alex Paulo up the road by some 6 seconds. That's the margin he has over these two that are battling for P2 and P3. So 4 minutes remaining. 3 laps we will get in, potentially. There is our race leader, Paulo. He's going through turn 1 now, before Barron and Grossman have even started the uphill section into that very turn. Under braking, Bjorn Grossman gets a little bit closer once again. Barron in response, though, doing everything he can to try and defend that P2 position. Now, of course, the worst-case scenario here is Grossman, by trying too hard, he and Barron getting together and both cars not finishing the race. That would be an absolute nightmare. It's bear thinking about. 3 minutes and 15 seconds remain. This is Alessandro Vezzoni in the number 27 car. A super slow-mo replay of him going through the gravel, and front end of the car almost acting like a snowplow through the gravel. He had sufficient speed to carry himself through and had sufficient gap over Martin Nelson, I think, to have stayed ahead of him. The AM battle for P1 between Smith and Atuev continues, but I just have a feeling that Sam has got this all completely under control at the moment. And whatever Vladimir Atuev is throwing at the Englishman ahead of him, it's not enough. So, indeed, Martin Nelson and John Ferrano, it would appear, managed to get past the Alessandro Vezzoni car. He didn't have enough of a margin for that little off. So Martin Nelson then, and there is John Ferrano. Now, in fairness, it makes no difference in the AM category because Alessandro Vezzoni is a pro driver. So he drives in the pro category and he's now P9 in the race overall. So Alex Paulo then. Done everything absolutely perfectly in this race. The margin looks 7.2 seconds as he heads through turn number 4 now and up towards turn number 5, which will be that long downhill straight, the longest straight here at the Jerez de la Frontera circuit, some 0.6 kilometer straight. Here he goes, heading into turn number 6. Alex Paulo, our race leader. Meantime, you can see at the back top of the screen there both Philip Barron and Bjorn Grossman, who are running P2 and P3. Grossman again under braking gets a little bit closer to Philip Barron, but not quite close enough. Going to be one more lap after this one, in which Bjorn Grossman can try and wrestle away that P2 position. But as I say, our rudimentary calculations such that it stays the way it is, that Bjorn Grossman has probably done enough to seal the Pro Championship, which if he has... Oh, and a mistake from Philip Barron. That will have cost him time. He did manage to carry the speed through. Well, that was a real getaway with it, but it proves the pressure that Philip Barron is under from Bjorn Grossman behind him as he rattled the car through the gravel. And suspect that this is the little boost of confidence that Bjorn Grossman needed. We start the final lap then, with Paulo leading by 7.6 seconds. Sam Smith leads in the AM category. Alex Paulo in the Pro category. So the Stylev Squadra Corsa driver, Alex Paulo then, who really has not put a foot wrong in the entire race and has driven like a demon, the young GP3 racer who experiences his first outing in a GT car here at Jerez de la Frontera for the Stylev Squadra Corsa team, racing in the Ferrari Challenge. Really enjoying it, has to be said. He was full of the joys of the car when I spoke to him earlier. So he goes through turn 8. On the last lap towards the checkered flag. Just a few more turns for Alex Paulo, who not only makes his debut in GT racing this weekend, but could take his first race win in such a category. Through the chicane he comes. He has just one more turn to do before he will see the checkered flag. So he heads up towards the final turn now. And Alex Paulo, he did all the hard work in qualifying and has completed the hard work as he heads towards the checkered flag and wins in Jerez. Alex Paulo, race winner then. And Barron and Grossman fight over P2 and P3, but in the end, Barron has done enough to see off the challenge from Bjorn Grossman. And that's how they finish in the Pro category, the 1, 2, 3. In the AMs, Sam Smith ahead of Vladimir Atuev and Marcello Puglisi another one of the pro drivers, and John Ferrano on Martin Nelson right at the final throes of this. Martin will make the 458 as wide as possible to deny John Ferrano, so Martin Nelson heads towards the checkered flag, but it was a drag race between the two of them. So Alex Paulo then takes his first victory in GT racing. By taking the win. And quite rightly is pretty delighted with that. So the crowd have enjoyed the TropheoPirelli race then. And there is Sam Smith, the winner in the AMS. And the John Ferrano car that we can see there. There is Sam Smith, who, as I mentioned, has had such a remarkably successful year for Stratstone Ferrari, such that he took the championship for the AM title in Hockenheim. So Barron then parks his car up at number 2, Grossman at number 3, and right in the middle will come the car of Alex Paulo. So he has done enough, confirmed then that he has banked enough points to take the championship, and it is 2 years in a row for Bjorn Grossman. Christian Berchinger looking very, very happy about that. Bjorn Grossman having done a fantastic job. Super Mario. I think I can afford to say that now, Bjorn. And Paulo then, for Style F Squadra Corsa, wins the second of the TropheoPirelli Ferrari Challenge races. He's a super lad, to be fair. And of course, hugely talented. And the team very happy to applaud the success. Great celebrations there. Absolutely fantastic. There is Sam Smith, who makes it 2 out of 2 here at Jerez. Okay, as we reflect now on race number 2, seems a good time to take a look at the highlights from that race. Here they come. So at the off then, Alex Paulo was not going to make the mistake that he made yesterday at the start. And he was able to deny Philip Barron, despite Philip Barron's best efforts going around the outside. The additional grip that Alex Paulo had on the inside line was enough. Bjorn Grossman got jolly close to making it into P2, but it wasn't quite to be because he had to close the door on Sam Smith, who was looking very lively as well. Currently running in P4 at that point. John Ferrano kept the pressure on Tommaso Roca. And in the end, the pressure would pay because Tommaso Roca would make a mistake and not be able to make it through the chicane. And that was all John Ferrano needed. And Tommaso Roca there having to slow right down and make his way through the debris to get back out on track. Towards the end of the race, Bjorn Grossman really upped the ante towards Philip Barron. But it was a supremely dominant display from Alex Paulo, who slowly but surely, lap after lap after lap, just increased his margin over the P2 and P3 drivers, and when it came to the checkered flag, would finish some 8 seconds ahead. great presence of mind for Philip Barron there, who managed to save it going through the gravel. That could have been just the opportunity that Bjorn Grossman needed. But it wasn't to be, because when they headed towards the line, it was Paolo that would take the win from Barron and Bjorn Grossman. But Grossman doing enough to win the championship. So we will be heading up to the podium shortly. And there the Octane 1-2-6 team then very, very happy indeed, because their man Bjorn Grossman, by dint of banking the points, is on 199 and now cannot be caught by Philip Barron on 148. So Bjorn Grossman has done enough in the pro category in the Drivers' Championship to take the title. Hugely successful season for Bjorn Grossman, and very well done to him. In the AM Championship, Sam Smith had done it, but done it in Hockenheim. His dominant position, look, on 234 points to 104 for Tommaso Rocca, with Martin Nelson P3 in the points. So it's up to the podium that we go next. So the podium awaits then. And there you can see the top three in both categories. Paolo, Barron and Grossman in the pro category. And Smith, Atoev and Nelson in the AM categories. So Bjorn Grossman then, it's third step of the podium. But it is the championship. Philip Barron on the second step, and Alex Paolo then delighted with his win. Deservedly so. Wonder if we can convince him to travel to Daytona for the World Finals. That would be good. In the meantime, national anthem then for Alex Paolo.
Fuerte el aplauso para el vencedor, Alex.
La señora doña Gemma Pérez, delegada de Economía de la Junta de Andalucía, hace entrega al tercer clasificado, al piloto alemán Bjorn Grossman, de ese trofeo acreditativo, tercera posición, ya vencedor de la categoría en esta temporada. Fuerte el aplauso para él. Vencedor ya de la categoría.
Dignitaries here then to make the trophy presentations. So Grossman and Barron have their trophies. Alex Paolo then receives his. Stalev Squadra Corsa receives their team trophy. And here comes the Pirelli trophy as well. So Paolo there with two fine trophies with which to remember his GT outing here at Jerez de la Frontera. So all the trophies held then for the official photographs. And next time we see the TropheoPirelli cars in action, will be at the World Finals in Daytona. Champagne time then. And there we take a super slow-mo of the top three. Bjorn Grossman, first of all. And Philip Barron then, of course, taking P2. And no mistaking the winner. A really dominant performance then from the single-seater star, driving for the Campos team in GP3, Alex Paolo, but driving for Starlef Squadra Corsa this weekend in the Ferrari Challenge. And taking the win. Well done, Alex Paolo. So we've had the pro podium. Hopefully we can stay on air long enough to see the AM podium, which will feature Sam Smith, Vladimir Atuev, and Martin Nelson. So beautiful backdrop here as we look at the cars then. And remind you that we still have another race to come from the Ferrari Challenge. It will be the Copa Shell race to come a little bit later this afternoon. Make sure you join us for that if you possibly can, because the race action will be just as good. There we can see some of the crowd making their way from the grandstands. And everyone standing by for the AM category podium. And the track announcer reminding all the crowd here that another race to come for the Copa Shell cars in the Ferrari Challenge. So iPhones at the ready then to take the photographs. Here comes Martin Nelson out onto the podium. The very tall Vladimir Atuev. And yet another top step of the podium for Sam Smith. And here comes the national anthem for Sam. I must say, well done to the FF Corsa team and Anthony Cheshire that runs that team by making sure that as many team members as possible make it up to the podium. Gemma Perez then, the economic delegate for the Andalusian government, is here once again for the podium presentations. Martin Nelson receives his, then it will be Vladimir Atuev to receive his now for P2. But adding to the mantelpiece, which is weighed down heavily by trophies, here comes the P1 trophy for Sam Smith. So he seals yet another win in the Ferrari Challenge for the AM category in TropheoPirelli. Well done to Sam Smith, Vladimir Atuev, and to Martin Nelson as well. And there, FF Corsa. And there, to the very left of the picture, was Anthony Cheshire. Copa Shell Race 2 is on then, as you can see on screen. Make sure you join us for that, if you will, please. That will be the next race action from the Ferrari Challenge. They all get together for the photos then. And it is time for champagne. Come on, Sam. Well done. He wins that race as well. And Martin Nelson, as always, very exuberant up there on the podium. Well done to the 1, 2, 3 then in the AM category. Sam Smith, Vladimir Atuev, and Martin Nelson. We take quick slow-mo of the top three. There is the car of Martin Nelson from Scuderia Autoropa. Vladimir Atuev for P2, then for Motor Service, but taking the win for Stratstone Ferrari and FF Corsa. It was this man, Sam Smith, who takes yet another win. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for the Copa Shell race in just a while.